You think you procrastinate because you are lazy, or undisciplined, or because the task is too big. You have read the books, you have tried the timers, none of it worked, and you probably assumed that meant you hadn't tried hard enough. You were wrong about what was happening to you. The mistake isn't about willpower. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It is an emotional regulation problem, specifically. It is your nervous system rotting away from a task that feels unsafe, not dangerous, unsafe. That email to your manager, the blank document, the spreadsheet you keep minimizing. Your brain has flagged each of them as a small threat. And like any threat, it wants distance. The tabs, the snacks, the sudden urge to clean. They are not distractions. They are escape routes. But naming the mechanism doesn't fix it. Because the actual reason it keeps happening is smaller and quieter and worse than any of that. Here is what happens in the first 60 seconds at your desk. You sit down. You look at the task. A small signal fires in a region called the anterior cingulate cortex, the part of your brain that weighs effort against reward. It does not care about your deadline. It cares about one thing: how much conflict it predicts you are about to feel. If the task is ambiguous, if you are not exactly sure what done looks like, the conflict signal spikes. Your brain does not interpret that signal as plan more. It interprets it as this hurts, and it reaches for the nearest thing that turns the signal off. A notification, a tab, a thought about lunch. The relief is real, measurable, dopaminergic, and because it worked once, your brain remembers. The next time you sit down, the escape route is already built. This is the trap. You are not procrastinating the task. You are procrastinating the feeling of ambiguity about the task. Every time you escape, the route gets faster. The task gets scarier. And by the third day, the document hasn't moved, and you have built a small neural highway that leads away from it. What willpower cannot do is close that highway. What willpower can do, briefly, is force you onto the task once. But if the ambiguity is still there, the signal fires again, and you are right back on the escape route within minutes. This is why the apps and the timers fail. They assume the enemy is the phone. The enemy is the ambiguity. So here's the move. It is called the 90-second gate. Before you open the task, you do not open the task. You open a blank page and you write, in one sentence, what done looks like for the next 90 seconds only. Not the project, not the deliverable, the next 90 seconds. Draft the first line of the email. Write the subject header. Open the file and read the top paragraph. The sentence has to be so small that your brain cannot generate a conflict signal about it. Then you set a 90-second timer, and you do only that. When the timer ends, you stop, even if you are in flow. You write the next 90-second sentence. You start again. What this does is starve the ambiguity. The conflict signal cannot fire on a task this defined. The escape route stops being faster than the work. Most people feel the shift within the first 3 gates. Not motivation, not momentum, something quieter. The feeling of a task that has stopped threatening you. Procrastination was never about discipline. It was about a signal you were taught to treat as laziness. Close the ambiguity. Starve the signal. The work follows.